So friends, good evening, good afternoon, or maybe good morning, so far as your respective time zones are. This is Mandar Sahasrabuddhe, welcoming you for the session, a brief introduction regarding preparation for CGEIT exam. Thank you for your valuable time that we are investing, and let us go through what we are going to see in this journey of 1 hour. Right, so welcome again. So this is a little bit about us as an infosec train. We are one of the finest security and technology training and consulting organization. We are relatively young and dynamic, I would say. Since 2016 we have deep pockets for the experience perspective. So we have around more than 15 years of industry experience in consulting as well as training and all. Mainly certification and consulting services into IT and cyber security related aspects. So here we are, and what would be the agenda for today's session? So about me being a trainer, then what is this CGEIT animal? What are its focus areas? These are divided into four predominantly: governance of enterprise IT resources, benefit realization, risk optimization. We will just see in a little bit more detail. Then obviously the important aspect, that what is CGIT exam design, how we need to approach it, who actually needs to appear for the CGIT exam, their respective benefits, and so on. We can take a couple of questions as a representative one. That means how these questions are constructed, what should be in our mind, etc., etc., while solving the question. And definitely, as I mentioned, question and answer sessions, if any there are. So moving ahead, this is me, not much to mention over here, but I've been in this field for around more than 19 years. Now I think 1 year needs to be added, Corona year. Here, however, I have heterogeneous industry experiences from my client and where I worked. So banking, I mean, specifically investment banks, oil and gas organizations, definitely IT services, manufacturing, as well as fast moving goods companies. Then I have across the certifications I am having. So let it be CRISC, CGIT, definitely, CISA, CISM. Now recently added one is a CDPSE. It is related to data protection. And as well, I am ISO 27001 lead auditor. I'm paneled and working with various audit organizations and consulting organizations as well for various other engagements like consulting and third-party audits. I have experience in specifically information security, IT risk management, SOX audits, etc. Definitely with respect to GRC projects and further governance projects as well, I had my consulting engagements. Overall, more than 200 hours of training, internal, external, and so on. So this is brief about me. Okay, one note, kindly pay attention that this recording of the webinar shall be available on our YouTube channel and also through email. Then you would get this 1 hour course attendance certificate and respective CPE certificate as well for your sessions and wherever those are applicable for you. You have a feedback link. Please do provide the feedback on a provided link, infosectrain.com training feedback. And always you can write to us at sales@infosectrain.com. So after this curtain raiser informations, a little bit of procedures, I would say. I would start with what is CGIT. It is predominantly, or rather it is ISACA certification for governance of enterprise IT. It is globally accepted and recognized, and it's type of leading certifications. Definitely nowadays we can consider more from ITIL perspective. They have come up with ITL 4 latest version. There are strategy certification is there and so on, but there is a one ISO standard as well in parallel to 38500, which is specifically for IT governance. However, ISACA is a leader. They came up with its kind of a certification which is acknowledged by ANSI and respective other bodies as well. Specifically, it talks about two types of governance. One is a IT demand governance and IT supply side governance, both. So what IT should work on as well as how IT should work upon. Mainly need that professional who may have to understand the technology, how to implement and align our resources, IT resources, financial resources for IT related risks with respect to assets, processes, a little bit strategic risks, etc., with identified enterprise goals from conformance and performance standpoint. This is what around the entire wheel of CGIT revolves. And definitely there are certain task and knowledge statements on the exam topics that would be in detail, would get covered during the course. Definitely, if I presume that many of you might have a background from any other ISACA exam like CISA or CRISC, etc., you might be more aware about these task statements and knowledge statements. However, these are four job practices. Now, what are the job practices? We can easily we can coin them as a domains. Maybe there are four domains or four chapters or four job practices as per this exam focus. Those are like governance of enterprise IT, which covers or targets heaviest chunk from this focus areas, 40%. IT resources, 15%. Benefits realization, that is for 25%. And risk optimization, it carries 20%. Anyway, if we consider, okay, these are not watertight compartments, definitely, because scenarios would be given while having the exam as well as in our real-time scenario as well. We cannot say that, okay, if I'm facing this particular problem, it is from IT resources, nothing to do with the benefit realization. It won't happen. So these are just representative one for our alignment of our course and so on. This exam would be more scenario based. One scenario could be given. I mean, pre-log I'm doing a little bit over here, but it is providing a scenarios, and based on that we may expect to provide answers to questions with respect to those scenarios and so on. So it is not bookish kind of thing. Definitely we have to apply our mind, we have to apply our experiences, definitely knowledge, and whatever the subject lines that we would discuss, whatever the literature that we would read, exam material for that matter, that also carries definitely impact, right? But in nutshell, these four job practices that we have to check for. Okay, this is in nutshell. Even though it is adopted from CIMA, I have taken this particular figure. I love this figure actually, this diagram, schematic diagram, and I have taken it from directly from the CRM, that is CGEIT Review Manual, published by ISACA, which is the anchoring document where we have to study, we have to focus all our efforts from preparation perspective as well. Here we can see there are two type of governances. One is a corporate governance and other is a business governance. In earlier slide we might have seen two terms called as a conformance and performance. Mainly corporate governance linked with the conformance processes, and business governance is linking with performance processes. Now we all know that conformance, easily we can coin it as a compliance, but means what? So there would be certain requirements, either statutory, regulatory, by clients, maybe by certain industries standards that we are operating. So SOX is a compliance, our IT Act is a compliance, our GDPR is a compliance, maybe ISO 27001 and any other related standard is a compliance, PCI DSS is a compliance, and so and so forth. There are many such compliances. They have their stipulated, identified, clear, unambiguous requirements, and our processes, we have to respond to that, and that can be auditable, saying that okay, you are conforming to this requirement or not. So accountability and assurance, these two pointers are important from conformance perspective. Then what is a performance? It is more from a kind of a non-tangible aspects, non-tangible, non-verifiable. For example, any company which is saving, say, X amount of dollar, maybe say $1 million this year by applying certain cost saving, whatever the processes and all, and the company next year is saving $1.5 million, right? So we cannot scale it on the base of conformance, whether you are complying or not. No, it is their performance. Either they can upgrade their performance or performance can be deteriorated because of many other factors, external, internal, and so on. But we have to govern that. We should be knowing that how performance, can this performance is predictable, whether this performance is controlled, whether our tactical planning, our strategic plans are towards identified goals. So whatever these performance goals we have to set, so like our saving targets, our energy saving targets maybe, so that company has to identify certain goals. They have to strive to attain those goals, and then we can say okay, we have created a certain value. We will see that how those are interdependent. For one which is making happy, same thing cannot be that much happier moment for other part. For example, shareholders or stakeholders, they want more dividend year on year. Employees, they want hike in their remunerations year by year. So we cannot please at the same time both these parties, because predominantly those are not correlated to each other, maybe inversely proportionate at times. Because if we are increasing salaries, cost will be high, then can be a less profit margin, so we may not be ending up giving that much required the dividend to stakeholders or shareholders. So governance is nothing but balancing act for all those identified and agreed demands by respective stakeholders. Now, for what purpose we have to do to gain, to attain a specific objective for the organization, right? And for this, having a conformance and performance part, we have to come up with certain assets. There would be a human assets, financial assets, predominantly resources that we have, IT assets, which is a focal point from overall CGE IT perspective. Now there we can see three important aspects: risk mitigation, performance measurement, and value creation. So we are actually balancing both from the risk perspective as well as performance perspective as well. So before going to next slides, where we can see that what is overall focus areas that we have discussed, what are the details and all, a main part that for any organization, there is a no boon that can enjoy infinite resources. No, for any organization, scale may be different, but they have finite resources, finite financial resources, finite human resources, etc., etc. So they have to utilize them wisely. You have to utilize them optimally so that they can attain their goals. First part, that is one constraint. And second constraint from organization perspective, that you cannot enjoy a risk-free environment, either internal or external. So second constraint line, which we would like to have, risk-free business, right? So it is not happening. So at one level, we have to manage our resources optimally. The other end, we have to manage our risks in such a way that those are we are keeping within the acceptable level. And with this balancing act, we have to attain whatever identified goals for the organization. And for that perspective, how IT is getting into all this ball game, that is nothing but the governance of enterprise. IT, conformance and performance, both risk as well as resources, value creation, business benefits, all those things. This is overall the discussion which is a focal point for this exam, CGEIT. Now, if we go to the first area of focus for this exam, governance of enterprise IT. There are three major parts in this domain or job practice. Governance framework. Here it is a overall enterprise IT governance framework. Then technology governance and information governance. So for technology and information governance, how it can be carried out, that answer is given in governance framework, right? So let us see what are the components of governance framework. So we have various organizational structures, roles, responsibilities. Definitely one organization is unique in their senses, so it is not like one size fits all. So at one level, if I am implementing a certain strategy, it won't be fitting to other organizations. So organization would have their own structures, their own challenges, their own ecosystem that they are working within, and IT is not out of any business, so any decision is taken. Finally, what is governance is nothing but the story of various decisions taken, whether successful or failed decisions, whatever, but it is nothing but the story of decisions taken, and this framework may enable to take wise decisions. At times no one can say that decisions won't fail, but how quickly we can resume by overcoming those failed decisions, that also is one of the test of our governance framework. So based on different strategy development, considering all these constraints, external environment, internal environment, legal and regulatory compliance, we have to consider in which industry sector we are working, in which law of the land we are working, and so on. What is a culture of the organization? Are we flat? Are we open? Are we bureaucratic? Are we monarch? Whatever. Here, one important aspect, there is nothing called as a right or wrong, but it is just there and we have to respond to that. And then overall business ethics, definitely there would be certain legal frameworks for that as well. So like SOX framework, so they want to understand how you provide remuneration to your top notches, how you have your internal controls, and so on. So all these, how we respond to them, etc., etc., that is where we have to come up with. Now, by applying this governance framework in technology governance, what we need to see, and all these are detailed discussion we will have in various these topics in domain one. So governance strategy alignment with enterprise objectives. So whatever IT strategy, how it is aligning with the enterprise objectives of the companies. Now again, if we are of what we can say a high velocity IT company, dynamics would be different. If we are a core manufacturing where dependency is not that much high velocity, I mean the new era like Netflix, Amazon, where technology is the business. So these two we have to consider from governance perspective, differences plus minuses, and accordingly formulate the strategy and so on. So overall, how strategy can be formulated, what are their external internal factors, and so on. In detail we will see that. Stakeholder analysis and engagements, as I mentioned, there are many stakeholders, right, from regulators, external competitors, special interest groups, internal like employees or vendors, and so on. So how we can analyze them and engage them. Communication and awareness strategy, that is also important, how technology can be used, what could be the methods. If any particular organization is getting merged with other, then definitely communication and related aspects may differ, because both organizations have a different cultural background. So many things that we have to consider, and accordingly we should come up with this particular governance framework as well as governance management. I know governance is different than management, but it would have a certain aspects how to manage the governance as well. By the way, one important thing before going for this exam, always we have to wear the hat of a CIO. How CIO will think, how they will take decisions, what they will check for, because news or whatever happens is having a different impact at different level, right? So in case of this corona, for example, in this pandemic situation, work from home, that is a reality. Now from employee perspective, we can think and we will come up with certain plus and minuses. From a department perspective, we can think and we can come up with certain plus and minuses. But how the CIO of the company would think and what they would do, because they have to juggle with many things. So whether CIO has to consider security aspects, availability of resources like laptops and all, should these laptops are company owned or owned by respective employees, whether the cost of all those engagements and so on, I mean sending laptop to home or asking them to take on rent and then reimburse it, etc., etc. And for all these purposes, CIO has to think and CIO has to take certain decisions. So always from this governance perspective, always we have to wear the hat of CIO. And this is the same thing for responding to the questions as well. Just it is one 2 cents from my side from overall preparation perspective. Okay, then in technology governance, we have to consider for enterprise architecture, policies, standards, or information governance. In that information architecture, so here we can talk about the TOGAF as well, where we have business architecture, information architecture, component architecture, and so on. Information asset life cycle, right from hire to dispose, right from creation of information to disposal of information, and so on. Who will be having in the command of that information, its ownership and stewardship, its classification and respective handling. We may find that few legs are going into information security, few legs are from the quality perspective, few legs are maybe from cyber security, and so on, and which is required because finally IT is responsible to keep business up running and grow, right? So from that perspective, all these, I mean, this is a one exam where no subject is optional kind of thing. We have to think from many hats. We have to think from a working of many different streams which are gathering towards the IT as a stream, and then further apply certain governance aspects to it, right? Then relatively other job practices or area of exams are a little bit not that much linear but important. For example, IT resources. So there are two types in approaching it: IT resource planning and its optimization. First plan, implement, and then we would optimize those resources. So human resources is important aspect. Other related components, infrastructure, there are various layers, its capacity, its capabilities, right from acquisition of these resources, good practices, how these acquisitions would be considered in more optimized way, etc., etc. Important aspect is a contract management, because there also, I mean, we cannot, as I mentioned, we cannot watertight compartmentalize these subjects. For example, if we consider management of contracts, right, or contracted services, there would be even certain security requirements would come in, which is more from risk management perspective. It would talk about the capacity, minimum availability, resilience, and so on. So it would have performance related aspects as well, and so on. So it would require certain policy decisions, it would require certain procedures and standards. So it is more from our governance framework perspective. For this to keep uphold of these contracts, there should not be any fallouts like exceeding our contractual terms or non-compliance with these contractual terms. And for that purpose, we have to manage our performance as well as risks both to abide with this contractual terms. So even if I take a piece of contract paper, let it be a master service agreement or any SOW or any other contract, it attracts all these governance related aspects in one that piece of document, and it is everywhere. So we have to just think from all these aspects while solving the questions as well. Next is benefit realization. As I mentioned, it is more from the performance perspective. Again, here there are two parts: IT performance and its oversight. Here oversight is from the governance perspective, observation of that there are certain controlling processes like change management is there, performance management is there, it's reporting, governance reporting, their KPIs, their key goal indicators, maybe from risk management, key risk indicators as well. Then quality assurance is there, process development, improvement. Okay, while dealing with all these aspects, so if we consider management of IT enabled investments, how that investment can be made, because to realize the benefit, we should understand what the benefit is first. So we have to develop business case, we have to take certain decisions, we have to prioritize our investments considering what is the ultimate goal that enterprise want to achieve. Then we have to rate these investments based on the ROI. Then business case will be getting floated, and business case again, it is a dynamic and live document till that IT investment gets into the end. So there would be a certain evaluation methods and so on. We will definitely touch base upon all these aspects in this benefit realization part. Mainly all these governance processes, we have to focus on three major processes, EDM, that we call. You cannot, I mean, you won't find these three terms here in presentation, but from the COBIT 2019, which is having the impact. I mean, COBIT is a backbone for any SAGA exam, COBIT framework. So there they discuss related to EDM, that is evaluate, direct, and monitor. Governance function is restricted toward these three processes. Then what is a management? It is more from planning, implementing, then checking, rechecking, and coming up with monitored whatever results for area of improvements and etc. So that wheel would start. But from the governance perspective, it is clear: EDM, evaluate, direct, and monitor. Right, so these three are important processes. Whatever this benefit realization, IT resources, or next is a risk management optimization. So all these should be considered from that angle, EDM. Now here, as we mentioned, one part we identified business benefit from performance perspective. Other part in this section, or this is the last area of focus from overall CGIT perspective, is risk optimization. So these two constraints we have to take care of it to achieve our the promised goals that we would attain. So in risk strategy, we will talk about various risk frameworks, standards. So there are various ISO risk management standards, NIST is there. There are various approaches to manage enterprise risk management, ERM that we call. So how organization structure of this ERM would be, how we can consider process level risk, asset level risk, how it's overall reporting, how we would identify its risk appetite and risk tolerance. And we have to always keep any identified risk within these risk appetite levels, its correlation with strategic management, its correlation with operational management. So this risk manager, or I mean, terminology may differ. So I would call it as a function. Maybe a risk management function is nothing but the point where operations as well as strategy both meet each other, and not only meet, they align with each other. Right, so this is important aspect in risk management. Then various IT enabled or capabilities, processes, services we have to check. We have to identify with various risk exposures and threats. So vulnerabilities identification, threat identification, its calculations, etc., etc. But it is more from governance perspective rather than operations or management perspective. Overall life cycle, and then there would be a risk assessment methods, qualitative, quantitative, and so on. So frankly speaking, this is the completion of all those job practices. So just to recap, there are 4 job practices. One is a framework of a governance, other is a IT resources, second is a benefit realization, that is nothing but the performance, that realization of those IT resources from organizational standpoint, and fourth is a risk optimization. So these are 4 job practices. And how this exam would get designed, I mean, all ISACA exams currently are having the same design, but just to reiterate, there would be 4 hours to solve 150 questions. We can complete and end the exam once we are done. There won't be any additional time for breaks. Actually, breaks are not allowed, so there is no concept of a clock stop, etc. Definitely all the questions are MCQs. As I mentioned, there could be certain scenarios provided, and for that one scenario maybe you can be asked for 3-4 questions based on that scenario, but all those are MCQs. So we have to select one answer. There are no any negative marking, so rest assured for that. Pass and fail notifications would be displayed soon after the exam to you. That is a provisional. 10 business days, you would get official scorecard. There would be a scaled score of 450 or more to secure saying that I am pass. Now, total scaled score would be 800. Out of that, we have to come up with 450. It does mean that single question is not carrying equal marks, right? So there would be a weighted score considering the type of difficulty, level of difficulties. The scale score per question may differ, so this we have to consider. Okay, once we pass the exam, what is required to get the norm, because there are these 2 steps. One is passing the CGEIT exam and getting the norm, or that I am CGEIT. So overall, it would require certain relevant risk management and related other experiences as well, benefit realization and all. Apologies, I forget to mention other pointers as well here. So all those job practices in nutshell which are required: benefit realization, overall IT resource related planning or optimization related experiences and all. So we have to provide 5 years of experience. There are waivers. First waiver is if we are graduate from Indian standpoint, then we can get 1 year of a waiver for in this required 5 years. And one more additional, that if we are having a experience may not be related to all these things more than 1 year or so, so there we would have one more waiver to this. So ideally we can claim 3 years of experience from any of these domains from CGIT. Now from the exam perspective, now we can have proctored exam, remote, that we can appear from office or home. So obvious there would be certain laptop, desktop, internet connections, etc., etc. These are the USD charges. You can see 575 for ISACA members and USD 760 for non-members. So if we become a member, equally we end up in spending those 760 only. However, we can get access to various resources from ISACA. That is more important, being a member to the ISACA. So that is overall exam design and requirement. Okay, who needs CGIT and its benefits? So by this time, when I say that we have to wear the hat of a CIO, so definitely wherever there would be business analysis, high-end consulting where we provide maybe IT strategic leadership. We are eyeing going up in the ladder and so on. Whereas IT professionals at different level as well, maybe a project managers or project architects or those higher positions as well, if we are eyeing towards that. And overall governance professionals who mainly deal into the performance measurement and related criteria. So definitely ISACA CGIT is a vendor agnostic certification on IT governance, hence it is a more sought. It is definitely world leading, one of the world leading IT governance certification today across the world, across the geographies, and it is one of the flagship from the ISACA perspective and leader in such kind of certifications from governance standpoint. We'll quickly see couple of questions how we can expect. So first question, for example, is which of the following measures is the best? Now, similarly, you can see the best would be provided in bold and capital this thing. Measure of IT performance in an enterprise. There would be 4 choices, A, B, C, D, and out of that we have to select one. So the rate of return on investment, the percentage. Okay, I've seen the question, what is the difference between COBIT and CGIT? I will explain in a minute, right? Okay, so similarly these questions we have to solve. Maybe next question like most we can have. Okay, one more important, there won't be any negative questions. So they won't ask you which is not most or something like that. They may say least, right? So that we have to consider, and for that purpose we have to solve as many as questions we can have. In ISACA there is access to that database we have to consider, right? What I need to repeat, answer B. Okay, so these are sample questions and how we have to approach ISACA CGIT questions. Definitely, as we have to concentrate on these keywords: primary, best, most, least, etc. Again, we have to consider from the risk management perspective is we have to make clearly two distractors out, and then there would be a fight between two options. So we, from the elimination, from these two options we have to identify our final answer. There would be certain tricks and techniques as well while preparing for these exams, and then we have to consider that how we can come up without any confusion, without any, what we can say, getting more into the dilemma and so on. So that is part of a preparation that we would discuss in detail, right, during the course. So that is overall approach from this exam perspective. By this, my whatever identified agenda, I am towards the completion of an end. Okay, so friends, I think you may find this session helpful, and thankful for all of you that you invested the time uh, on specifically on Friday evenings. So thank you very much. And in any case, any question, any further clarification required, always you can write to us. We are open for responding. Wish you all very happy and peaceful weekend. Please have a good rest, and thank you very much.